Disguised billionaire rewarded her kindness, but the truth behind it didn't just surprise people, it shocked everyone who thought they knew her story. Lily Brooks stood in a crowded supermarket, her worn-out clothes and empty wallet screaming struggle, but her heart refused to look away from the old man being accused of stealing bread. "Call the police," someone muttered. "Wait," Lily stepped forward, her voice trembling, but her decision was firm. "I'll pay for him." The old man slowly lifted his head, frail, forgotten, invisible to everyone else, but his eyes were sharp, calculating, almost like he was measuring her. She had nothing. He looked like nothing. But something about this moment felt watched. The machine beeped. Approved. Lily froze. That card had just been declined minutes ago. The old man didn't thank her. He studied her. As if her kindness wasn't a surprise, but a test. Outside, a black luxury car slowed down, then drove off. Lily never saw it. But the man did. And for the first time, he smiled. But why would a disguised billionaire be watching a struggling girl like Lily? What truth was hidden behind her kindness that could shock everyone? And why did it feel like this moment had been planned long before she ever stepped into that store? "Stop. Don't call the police. I'll take the blame." Her voice echoed again, firmer now, as if repeating it made it more real. The security guard hesitated. "Miss, you don't understand." "I do," Lily said quietly. "He needed help." The cashier leaned closer. "Your card didn't work earlier." Lily swallowed. "Try again." It worked. A coincidence, but her fingers trembled as she collected the receipt. Across from her, the old man adjusted his torn sleeve, revealing for a split second a cufflink, polished, expensive, completely out of place. He noticed her noticing. And covered it. Too late. "Why?" he asked again. Lily hesitated this time. A flicker of memory crossed her mind, her mother's voice, gentle but firm, telling her as a child that kindness was not a transaction, it was a decision. She had learnt it from her childhood and had pity on the old man. "I just couldn't walk away," she said softly. The man nodded slowly, as if confirming something already decided. Then he turned and left. Through the glass doors, the reflection of that same black car lingered briefly again. Watching. Waiting. And somehow connected. Lily stepped out of the supermarket with a thin nylon bag in her hand. Just bread. But it had cost her everything. She walked slowly, her mind replaying the moment. Approved. It didn't make sense. Just 10 minutes earlier, she had stood at that same counter, her card rejected in front of everyone. The embarrassment still burned in her chest. Yet somehow, it worked now. "Hey." She turned. The old man stood a few steps behind her. Up close, he didn't smell like the streets. No alcohol. No dirt. Just neutral. "You didn't have to do that," he said. Lily gave a small shrug. "I know." "Then why did you?" She hesitated. A memory surfaced, small, warm, painful. A younger Lily sitting beside her mother in a dim kitchen, watching her divide one loaf of bread into 3 unequal parts. "You always give the bigger piece away," Lily had complained. Her mother smiled. "Because someone else might need it more." Lily saw her mother giving the bread to her neighbor's children whose father just died and had nothing to eat. Back in the present, Lily looked at the man. "Because I've been there," she said simply. He murmured softly. Then his gaze flicked past her. For a split second. Lily followed it. Across the road, a black car idled again. Engine running. Windows tinted. Watching. "Is someone waiting for you?" she asked casually. The man looked back at her, his expression instantly calm again. "No," he said. But it came too quickly. Lily frowned slightly. Another detail clicked. His shoes. Worn, but not cheap. "Take this," she said, handing him the bread. He didn't take it immediately. Instead, he studied her again. Longer this time. Then finally, he accepted it. Thank you, Lily. She froze. I didn't tell you my name. The man smiled faintly. Not everything needs to be said out loud. Then he turned and walked away. Not toward the street, but toward the black car. Lily stood there, her heartbeat rising. Because suddenly, nothing about this felt random anymore. Lily didn't follow him immediately. She told herself she didn't care. But her feet moved anyway. Slow. Careful. Quiet. The old man, no. Mr. Harris, as she heard the cashier call him earlier, walked toward the black car without hesitation. That alone felt wrong. People like him didn't walk like that. They hesitated. Looked around. Kept distance from things they didn't belong to. But he walked like he owned the road. Lily stopped behind a parked bus, peeking through the glass. The car door opened. Not by him. By a man in a suit. Clean. Precise. Professional. Sir, the man said, lowering his head slightly. Sir. Lily's breath caught. Mr. Harris didn't respond immediately. He glanced back. For a split second. His eyes met Lily's. She ducked. Heart racing. When she looked again, he was already inside the car. The door shut. The car drove off. Smooth. Silent. Expensive. Lily stood frozen. Sir. The word echoed in her head. That night, she barely slept. Her tiny apartment felt smaller than ever, peeling paint, a flickering bulb, the hum of a faulty fan. On the small table beside her bed lay an old envelope. One. Untouched. Her name written in her mother's handwriting. She picked it up, then stopped. Not yet. She placed it back. Across the room, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Lily didn't go to work the next morning. Because she no longer had one. The message came early. We regret to inform you. No explanation. No warning. Just like that, gone. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone. Why now? She whispered. But deep down, something didn't feel like coincidence. Not after last night. Not after the call. Her landlord knocked an hour later. Sharp. Impatient. Lily, rent is overdue. I just need a little more time, she replied, opening the door slightly. You said that last week. I know, No more time. The door shut harder than necessary. Silence followed. Heavy. Suffocating. Lily leaned back against the wall, closing her eyes. Another memory slipped in. Her uncle's voice years ago, cold and dismissive. There's nothing left, Lily. Your parents had debts. You're lucky I even took you in. She had believed him. Because she was grieving. Because she was young. Because she had no one else. Now, sitting in this empty room, she felt that same helplessness creeping back. Her gaze drifted again to the envelope on the table. Her name. Her mother's handwriting. Untouched for years. Her fingers twitched. But before she could reach for it, her phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. Yes. Come to 14 Crescent Avenue, the same calm voice said. No greeting. No explanation. Who are you? Lily demanded. You already know? Her chest tightened. If I don't come. A pause. Then you are on your own. What kind of call is this? She exhaled. The call ended. Lily stared at the phone. Then at the envelope. Then back at the door. Everything felt connected. Too connected. She stood slowly. Because whatever was happening, it wasn't random anymore. And for the first time, Lily wasn't just struggling to survive. She was being pulled into something she didn't understand. Lily stood outside 14 Crescent Avenue, her breath shallow. This wasn't just a house. It was an estate. Tall iron gates. Silent security cameras. A driveway too clean to be ordinary. She almost turned back. This doesn't involve me, she told herself. But it already did. Before she could knock, the gates opened. Automatically. A chill ran through her. Inside, everything was quiet, too quiet. A man in a suit approached her. "Miss Lily Brooks," he said politely. Not a question. A statement. Her stomach tightened. "How do you know my name?" "This way, please." No answer. He led her inside. Marble floors. High ceilings. Art that looked expensive even to someone who knew nothing about art. Wealth. Real wealth. Not imagined. Not guessed. Felt. Lily's worn shoes echoed awkwardly against the polished floor. She became painfully aware of herself. Her clothes. Her life. Her lack. They stopped at a large door. The man opened it. Inside. The old man sat calmly. But not as she knew him. No torn clothes. No weakness. A perfectly tailored suit. Straight posture. Commanding presence. Lily's breath caught. "You," she whispered. "Good afternoon, Lily," he said smoothly. Even his voice had changed. Or maybe this was always his real voice. "You lied to me," she said, stepping back. "No," he replied calmly. "I allowed you to see what you believed." Her heart pounded. "Who are you?" He stood slowly. Every movement controlled. Measured. Leonard Hale. The name hit the air. Heavy. Familiar. Powerful. Even Lily had heard it before. Billionaire. Investor. Untouchable. Her head spun. "You're him." "Yes." Silence stretched. Then. "Why me?" she asked, her voice barely steady. Leonard studied her again. That same look. The same one from the store. Only now. It made sense. "Because," he said quietly, "you passed the test you didn't even know you were taking." Lily's chest tightened. Because suddenly, every moment replayed in her mind. The bread. The card. The car. The call. None of it was random. And whatever this was, it had been planned from the beginning. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about who she truly was. Lily stared at the file in Leonard's hands, her chest tight with something she couldn't name. "You've been watching my life like it's some kind of experiment," she said, her voice unsteady. Leonard didn't interrupt. Because he knew this part mattered. "You saw me struggle," she continued. "You saw me lose my job today, and you did nothing." A brief silence. Then. "Are you sure about that?" he asked calmly. Lily froze. Her mind flashed back. The sudden termination. No warning. No explanation. Too clean. Too convenient. Her eyes slowly lifted to him. "You're saying that was you?" Leonard didn't deny it. "I needed to remove variables." "Variables," her voice rose. "That's my life. And that is exactly why it mattered," he replied, his tone still controlled, but firmer now. The room felt colder. "You wanted to see what I'd do when I had nothing left," Lily whispered. "Yes." The answer came without hesitation. Her hands clenched. Anger rose. Sharp. Justified. "You had no right." Leonard stepped closer, his expression unreadable. "Your life has been shaped by people who had no right," he said quietly. The words hit deeper than expected. Because they were true? A memory surfaced. Her uncle signing papers. Smiling. Promising protection. Then slowly, taking everything. Lily's breathing slowed. Not calm. But focused. You think this makes you different? She asked. Leonard held her gaze. I think it reveals truth. Silence stretched again. Heavy. Then Lily spoke. Softer this time. What truth? Leonard studied her carefully. As if this answer was the most important one. That even when the world stripped everything from you. He paused. You didn't become like it. Lily looked away. Because something about that hurt more than the anger. And healed something at the same time. But before she could respond, Leonard added quietly. And that is why this isn't over yet. Lily turned back sharply. What do you mean? Leonard didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked back to the table and pulled out another file. Thicker. Older. He placed it in front of her. This, he said, is where your story really begins. Lily's heart skipped. Because somehow, she knew this wasn't about him anymore. It was about her past. Lily hesitated before touching the file. Her name was written across the front. Not printed. Typed. Official. This is everything your uncle hoped you would never see, Leonard said quietly. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside. Documents. Bank statements. Property records. Signatures. Her breath caught. Wait, this isn't possible. But it was. Every page told the same story. Her parents hadn't left her with nothing. They had left her with everything. Savings. Investments. Property. All transferred. To her uncle. No, Lily shook her head slowly. He told me there were debts. Leonard's expression hardened slightly. There were none. The words hit like a blow. A memory surfaced. Her uncle sitting across from her after the funeral. His voice calm. Convincing. You're lucky I'm taking care of you. There's nothing left, Lily. Nothing. She had believed him. Because she was grieving. Because she trusted him. Because she had no one else. Her chest tightened painfully. He stole it, she whispered. Yes. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Suffocating. But that's not all, Leonard added. Lily looked up slowly. He slid one final document toward her. A will. Her mother's name. Her hands trembled as she read. Everything had always been hers. Her vision blurred. Why didn't I know about this? She asked, her voice breaking. Leonard studied her carefully. I found out years later, he said. By then, the damage was done. Lily's breathing became uneven. All those years of struggle. Of believing she had nothing. Of surviving scraps. When she was never meant to. Her gaze dropped to the table. Then slowly. To the envelope she had carried all this year. Lily's fingers tightened around the one envelope. For years, it had been nothing more than a memory she couldn't face. Now. It felt like the missing piece of everything. Open it, Leonard said quietly. She shook her head instinctively. I can't. Not because she didn't want to. But because she was afraid. Afraid it would confirm everything she had lost. Afraid it would prove she had been living a lie. Leonard didn't move closer. Didn't pressure her. Because this moment had to be hers. A memory surfaced again. Her mother placing the envelope into her hands, her voice weak but certain. When you're ready, Lily, this will help you understand everything. At the time, she hadn't understood. Now. She did. Her hands trembled as she slowly tore it open. Inside. A letter. and a document. She unfolded the letter first. Her mother's handwriting. Soft. Familiar. Final. My dearest Lily, if you're reading this, it means I'm no longer there to protect you. Tears blurred her vision. Everything we worked for is yours. Trust no one blindly, not even family. And remember, what truly defines you is not what you have, but what you choose to give. Lily's breath caught. The words felt alive. Still guiding her. Still protecting her. She looked at the document. It matched everything in Leonard's file. Proof. Ownership. Truth. Her hands dropped slightly. All those years. Gone. Stolen. But not erased. She looked up at Leonard. Why are you helping me? She asked softly. This time. There was no anger. Just truth. Leonard held her gaze. Because your mother once helped me, without knowing who I was. Lily froze. What? Leonard exhaled slowly. That night, years ago. His voice lowered. She saved my life. Silence filled the room, thick and unmoving. Lily stared at him, her heart pounding. You're saying, my mother knew you? Leonard shook his head slowly. No. She didn't know who I was. His eyes drifted slightly, as if pulled back into a memory he never fully left. I collapsed during a private event. Your mother was the attending nurse. Everyone else hesitated, protocols, approvals, status. He paused. But she didn't. Lily's chest tightened. She acted immediately. No questions. No fear. A quiet breath escaped him. She saved my life. The words settled heavily between them. Lily's mind raced. Her mother, that night, the exhaustion, the silence that followed. Then why didn't you help us? She asked, her voice trembling. Leonard didn't look away. I tried. A brief pause. My accounts were frozen at the time. Internal betrayal. Legal restrictions. By the time I regained control. He exhaled. You were already gone. The truth landed, not as anger, but as something more complicated. Timing. Failure. Missed chances. Lily looked down at the letter in her hand. Her mother's words echoed again. Trust no one blindly. And yet, she had still chosen kindness. Slowly, Lily lifted her gaze. So all this, the test, me losing everything again. Leonard's voice softened. I needed to know if kindness like hers still existed. A long silence followed. Then Lily spoke. You didn't find it. Leonard's brow tightened slightly. Lily took a step forward. You didn't find it, she repeated, steadier now. Because it was never lost. She placed the envelope gently on the table. I lived it. Leonard said nothing. Because for the first time, he wasn't evaluating her. He was understanding her. And that truth was far more powerful than any test. Silence settled between them, heavy but no longer hostile. Lily stood still, the letter trembling slightly in her hand, her mother's words echoing like a quiet anchor in her chest. Leonard watched her, not as a subject anymore, but as someone he was finally beginning to understand. You said you were looking for something money can't buy, Lily said slowly. I was, he replied. She nodded faintly, absorbing everything, the test, the betrayal, the years she lost, the truth she had just uncovered. Then she looked directly at him. You didn't find it, she said. Leonard's brows drew slightly. Lily stepped closer, her voice steadier now. You didn't find it because it was never missing. She placed the envelope gently on the table. I've been leaving it even when I had nothing. Those words lingered. Not defensive. Not proud. Just true. Leonard exhaled quietly, something in his posture easing for the first time. For years, he had tested people, measured them, watched them fail. But this? This wasn't performance. This wasn't strategy. This was character. Raw. Unfiltered. Unshaken. You're right, he admitted. The room fell into a softer silence. Not empty. Resolved. Lily glanced once more at the documents, the life that had been taken from her, and now returned. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like closure. What happens now? She asked. Leonard studied her carefully. Then, instead of answering immediately, he walked to the window. Outside, the same black car waited. Always present. Always watching. Just like before. But now? Nothing about it felt hidden anymore. He turned back to her. That, he said calmly, depends on what you choose to do with the truth. Lily followed his gaze to the window, then back to him. Her grip on the letter tightened slightly. Because this time, she wasn't being tested. She was being trusted. And for the first time in years, her future wasn't something she feared. It was something she could finally decide.